Can you believe, sir? Maybe Ghana, woman is edgy off. Enemy tina play mu ba Ghana. Emo de me call President Kuffour efie. Me catch President Kuffour say afei and I bra so be Ghana.
When I met Ghana,
and
God gave me a prophetic direction to do.
Satam na ya papa Rawlings and a tia konya no so. Nyame so ne nam me so. E ma ne tina konya no so. Eno tina da bia na me kan o dem ha say Ghana konya na nkasa no. Menim said you nyame ahyehyɛ ne niema. Obia no ma watina konya no so a mensa mambi. Eso nyame na me so. Ene papa Rawlings etina konya no so. Ya ye mpai bo ewa boko bi ewo ye fie. Bra o tesoro. Uhie na djuma nia Awurade de ne ba no osan fa me nsa so nia na me nsa ni mi bi mpo nyame ma me hunu se Nana Kuffour edikan ena ya papa Atamils edi akire Nana Kuffour pono na bia wura edan ma kotra konya kase ne so ena krofo bi distracting attention ena ya papa Atamils finiti ko wura dan kotra konya no so na epono no mu katowe me kan o dem he ya papa wo na wo ye translation
for NPP.
Dr. Baumia aba sore ha.
Dr. Baumia came to this church.
Vice President Baumia wabami fie otaba fie.
The Vice President of the Republic of Ghana.
Ya kwankyere directions amano. Now, as a prophet of God, I want me hu safwa yebetimi de abie pono. Yankofa bi every north, south, east and west.
So
na yamfa ni nyina try because a pono na mu ato this time no safwa na me free se betimi de abie no enye ye.
Abusia enra ewo Owusu Bempah na asori na odi enchirimu aba ewo ne nkomhya okohye esunsunsanso a aba ama amanfo bebre na ekire wo madwene ewo mu eno ene bi mu kra esusu se nkomhya Owusu Bempah ekohye ne nya kunye nu se sika bi ebe 5 billion bi na mase enu tina san nkomhya no eba eno na Owusu Bempah aba bonten ebechirimu se ono ewo na asori dem odi to asori manim se ono Owusu Bempah no also chance asika na ye bodin se afa ne nsase ama nkomhya no aba no na wo kire se ono ene ora anase ono ene mampani abede eche Dr. Mahama Baumia sa ayonkofa no ewo montam a otimi ekoni fie vice so timi ba ne fie oba na asori ebesra no na nka ogusu kra wo ya kwankire sunsum fam ede mai mampani abede eche Dr. Mahama Baumia na Owusu Bempah ekire se enkomhye no woye ya pemso akọ nanum kodu ba bi a afi bebi kodu e na ensuo ene asase ene ne ekasa ekire ne se aban na wote so no ene ne onu Owusu Bempah eye ede ma aban no onya na onka nche ne Nyankopon se aban no ayade bi ede etia wo mo ani to mpese omuro aban na ase mpaboa ne mom omo nyamre ede ma na atwen ye se ne tem no ebeso nti afei e na aso nti ne Owusu Bempah eye no enya ade se ebefa abusua ensemi enimu enchiremu ena ode kokoto udwa e wo na asori dem ho a me pese me de babeso mo ansa ne bekwa kwahwe no me kai wo se aha aye too much jeje nti se wonya ya subscribe my page we na mi adoma no so se na ebeye na upload bi e bia onsa ebetimi aka okọ all the social media handles na so a e honso aye too much jeje ya kai se honso obe like na wa share e de ama me abusua ma yenko video no video no so wi akai se obeja wo comment e wo video no ase
eno so e wo Orion na me ya asora ma minua Bishop Salifo Amwako Bishop Salifo Amwako ena Awurade bie mani Awurade kasa kire me say NDC be win election no na papa Rawlings obedi nkonim.
Now again in 96 at Orion Cinema I was invited by my brother in the Lord Archbishop elect Elisha Salifo Amwako, and I was ministering in his church at that time. During the ministration God told me that the election of the contest between Jerry John Rawlings and John Ajekum Kuffour, it is Jerry John Rawlings that would win the election in 1996, and I declared it. Now don't be tired of hearing what I'm saying, because I am about making a point.
Na papa bi friend asase jima no ye BNI for boss.
Now at that time there was a man called Asasi Jima. He was BNI boss. His wife was in church. So when we closed, his wife came to me
And I said, "Suffer."
And he said, "Prophet of God, the hand of God is mighty on you." And she asked me, how can you call somebody you don't know and begin to tell things concerning the life of that person, and everything you say is true? And he said to me, "Man of God, what you had said, because of what you said, I want to take you to my house." But when I looked at the woman standing before me, now I could tell that she was a great woman. So I followed her and she took me home. And she invited her husband. And she introduced me to her husband. And it was Mr. Asasijima. And she told her husband what the Lord revealed to me at Orion Cinema. And so her husband was excited. And so we became friends. And usually we would meet to pray with him.
Papa Rawlings and NDC.
We used to intercede for Jerry John Rawlings and NDC. There was a time
na use mobile phone akese ni bi no. Na Bishop Salifo Amuako ewo bi na msumi obi. Posi yeah, me kai am say Mr. Niama Donko. Yes, Mr. Niama Donko. And all the chair, me dear kakraka, or so dear kakraka.
Now,
kakraka, you know, baby sisu.
Now, in that time, the mobile phones that we had were very huge. I don't remember whether it was Mobitel or what, but it was very huge. And I had one. Prophet Salif from Mako had one. So that was the phone I was using at the time.
No say, Mema yanko na onko chemade. So intime osofo esiama ena Holy Joe ena sofo edudakon ena sofo amuakon ena sofo Ales na yedoso. So I heeded his call. I went to him and he told me he was going to show me something. And I didn't go alone. I went with Pastor Siama. I went with Prophet Alex. I went with so many people, so many. So we went to the place where he had invited us. It was, at that time, it was Abokobi. He had a very big farm. Animal farms. And that was where we used to go and hide directions and pray and do directions for NDC. And after that, I met with Jerry John Rawlings. And when we met, he spoke Tree to me. He didn't speak English. And he spoke good Tree. Indeed, after that election, he won. Still, man can come home and shadow.
But even though I got to know him, I did not come very close to him. And even when he won that election, I did not even go to him to congratulate him.
Saturday busy, me ko Takrade, me ko Cape Coast, me ko Sunyai, na me ko Abuche, Canada, US, and him baby. To me, many times, Ghana president.
Now, in that time, I was very busy. I was traveling everywhere to Takrade, to Sunyane. I was traveling to Canada, to America, to UK, traveling all over the world to do the work of God. So I had very limited time at my hands when I was in Ghana.
Maybe 1 year, me took 6 times or 7 times.
Now, there were some of the times that in a particular year, I could travel out of the country for more than 6 times.
And a radical church say,
now it was time for another election, and the Lord told me that there was going to be a shift. He was going to turn government around.
Now me program our Manor House.
Now in Manor House,
UK, London.
In London, Manor House, UK, I was having a program there.
Reverend Kuffour invited me. Papa.
It was Reverend
Edu Jemfi.
Reverend Kuffour and Reverend Edu Jemfi. Reverend Kuffour is Obuo's father. Reverend Kuffour and Reverend Edu Jemfi invited me.
Now those days, no Manor House. Snow air talk, a demon my man in the Pagua Bontain, a snow air talk.
Now, in those days, at Manor House,
A big sea you can order.
it was during winter. It was snowing. The auditorium was full to the brim. Yet there were people outside, and it was quite unprecedented in
And I'm a
UK.
free woman be.
So I called a certain woman during prophetic
And I'm a catcher
ministration,
and say, oh brother, obey Ghana president.
and I said to her that you have a brother who will be president of Ghana one day.
And I'm a TD be a Jakum.
And when I was speaking to her, I heard a name as Ajekum.
And I'm saying, oh, nam nipa bi. Your friend Ajekum.
And I said to
Rather
her
so obey Ghana
that you have
president.
a relative called Ajekum. Thus saith the Lord. He is going to become Ghana's president.
I hope my man started so tear.
Now the woman started to jubilate and scream out loudly.
And what Dimirika, I call also for Kuffour chain.
And so she ran
What's
to
it?
Prophet Kuffour and said, Papa,
Yet the radiasi.
we thank God.
Mamma say, Ampa, Yaminipa. Me brother, or young PP. Now, oh, much you soon, so name flag bearer. Until me who dream me. Now, Dabana Beko Ghana, Nipamu ho, and one meeting come away.
Now,
And I'm saying, Mamma, a power. Me no betting.
now, out of excitement, she confirmed and said, Man of God, what you are saying is true. I have a brother called Ajekum. He has been elected as the flag bearer of the new patriotic party. And he asked me, Man of God, when are you returning to Ghana? And this was not in secret or behind closed doors. It was in the full glare of the congregation.
Can you believe, sir? Me back Ghana, woman is edgy off. Enemy tina play mo ba Ghana. And more than me call President Kuffour if ye.
So when I was returning from UK to Ghana, the woman put aside everything she had doing, came with me to Ghana, and took me to President Kuffour's house.
And the catcher President Kuffour said, "Afei." And our brass so big.
When I met President Kuffour, I said to him that now is your time. You can become president of Ghana. And God gave me a prophetic direction to do. At that time, the incumbent president was Jerry John Rawlings. And God used me prophetically to bring him to that position a second time. Now, that is why
I few, but one or two maybe.
That is why
one pay.
That is why I have said continuously, and I don't really know why that is so, but it seems that that position called the presidency, God has used me, or through my hand, God has used me to bring so many people to the presidency, just about a few that I was not involved. Indeed, in that year, President Kuffour won the election.
And Papa Rawlings, a Tanakunan so, Yam Pipe Ball, our Bokobi, a fee, Brow Tesoro, who hear no Juma now, rather than a banner or some farm in Sasso.
So, even though God used me and my hand to make intercession for Jerry John Rawlings, and Jerry John Rawlings won the election, indeed, when the Lord intended to do a shift, God used me also for the next person the Lord had chosen to bring him to the presidency.
Niana men send me bimpo. Name mammy who say Nana Kuffour edikai. Ena ya papa atamils ediachiri. Nana Kuffour prone bia ora a danama kotra kunya kasi and so. Ena Kuffour distracting attention. Ena ya papa tamils finiti kora danum kotina kunyano so na epunum katoi. Me cano dem heya. Papa na we translation.
Now I recall that even that one that I was not involved, God revealed it to me. I saw that candidate Nana Dodonko Akufo-Addo and candidate John Evans Atamils were in a race. Dodonko Akufo-Addo had taken the lead, and John Atamils was following. He was trailing after him. But I saw that even though Nana had taken the lead and he was almost at the finish line to enter a door which was open, just at that point, he got distracted by certain people around him, and John Evans Atta Mills came to pass by him, took the lead, and then entered the door, and the door got closed. Indeed, what I saw took manifestation, and it came to pass.
Atta Mills election.
Atta Mills won the election.
2012 and yet sensible.
Now, as for 2012, what the Lord revealed to me did not pass the test of common sense.
Na enye normal.
It was not normal.
MPP be win election, but enye omu no omu betra konya no so omu ma power, but omu be win election but omu ma power. Eno na Mr. Sani ba me office. No say na be na obi be win election. Now ontimi enye president. I think say Mr. Sani and Uncle Fee omu baako say. And I'm saying, Papa, dear man, no, na Sani bisi. Nampa esi ene copy court no.
Now, in fact, in 2012, the prophecy was didn't really make sense, because the prophecy was that NPP will win the election, but they will not sworn into power. They will not be sworn into power. Now, the prophecy really didn't sit well with so many people. One of my elders, I don't recall whether it's Mr. Asani or it was Uncle Fee, that came to me and said, Papa, how is it possible that somebody will win an election and not be sworn into power? And I said to him that, what I said was exactly what I saw. That was what happened in fact. And indeed, that was what led to the 2012 presidential election petition in the Supreme Court of Ghana.
I believe say Mr. Asani.
I believe it was Mr. Asani.
And then Mr. Asani sorry. Openi ayawa. Una about office baby Sameno. Wonderful.
Now put your hands together for the Lord Jesus.
And some make a make us a Mary and Uber who didn't hear me then and I'm hanging out.
Now you see, for all the
and
things,
it will help.
For all the things I'm saying, it is not the fact that I have digressed from the message I'm preaching, but you will see that all the things I'm saying are interconnected parts for the conclusion I'm about to make.
And to cut a long story short, Ninina, the Yamama who see.
So to cut a long story short, in all instances, what God revealed to me, they all came to pass.
Onyankopon say, "My rejected soul."
Now God said, "I have rejected Saul." So He said, "For how long would you continue to pray for him? Stop praying for him." Now I was still performing prophetic directions for NPP.
Dr. Baumia
came to this church.
Vice President Baumia,
the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana continued to come here, and even to my house. He came to my house. I even went to his house. I was doing prophetic directions for him.
Now, as a prophet of God, I also mean Safwa.
Now, as a prophet of God, it is incumbent on me to know the correct key, the appropriate key we can use to open the door.
Yankofabi, every north, south, east, and west.
So
now you're finding try, because a problem more to this time, no. Safwana me free say betim dia bie no enye ye. And so me bube.
And so, as a prophet of God, I said, let's go to the north, south, east, and west, and let's test all the keys and see which key will open the door, because this time around the door is shut, and the key I knew which could have opened the door is not opening the door.
And you make us say, "Ya di obi tena konwa so a agi owuo ene be yina free so na me nkofa safo so free ho."
So I decided
na me fa no somra
that I will go to a country where they practice the monarchical system of government, so that when you are installed onto the throne, you are there for life. Let's go there. Let me take one of the keys from that place and let's try the door and see whether it will open.
Intimate me brother, soften and akwasi. Madame Fubia Fanny Prince, and me ba Kofi, and your course Swaziland.
So myself, my brother Nanakwasi, my son Kofi, and a friend of mine called Prince, we traveled out of Ghana. We went to Swaziland, and I went to pick a key. I will not uncode what that key was. So we brought together all the keys.
Our regions, north, east, south, and west.
So we went to the regions, north, east, south, and west. And we came to try the keys. Which of the keys will open the door?
Because a pronomato, na safwa minim se betimi abie no. Me ye na ntimi nto se minyan safwa bebre e bia na ba ko afa.
So the door is shut.
We miss me bube.
The door is shut. The key I know which can open the door. I have tried it. It couldn't open the door. So it was only intelligent that will bring many keys and try those many keys and see whether peradventure any of the keys will open the door. And I am speaking allegorically. You must understand it.
Baby on my bedroom. Na asase so ahonhom aba catch na wo say de otia konwa no so oya yade bi a yempe nti epese ya twe ne to ase akonwa ne woro ne namu mpaboa enti onyame a obo so no ne asase akoa you hu free.
So there are
baby so on my bedroom ubosi nsuo ahonhom aba catch na wo say Namidi for your ferro, your ma wa beso. Omo titi, me ma, na me oba tenti, me niawu, me yakoko, me tia ebaso na me nkumba. Na me di abufuo kasa kyerɛ wo. Ɛnyɛ se ani tumi ye wo tumi, a ye betimi ye kum, nanso ye ya abatan. Na nea otiga na konya no so, a wa ye ahwe ha, ama ye saa no. Ye yini twasi akonya enti odifo me pacho wonu nyankopon nkasa na ka kire ne se ye mpede oti akonya no so. In fact, bon sember,
put your hands together for the Lord. Now in our quest to do spiritual work and do some spiritual things or continue doing some spiritual things, there are certain places which I travel to in the realm of the spirit. There are places you will get to and the spirits which are custodians of the land will tell you that, prophet of God, the person who is incumbent is doing certain things that we don't like, and so we want to take the seat. We want to take the seat from beneath him. There are other places that when you get to, you get accosted and you get confronted by water spirits. The water spirits will come to you and say that, man of God, servant of the living God, you know what? This man sitting on the throne is doing things, or he has allowed certain things to be done to us, and we don't want what he's doing. We don't like what he's doing. We are just like a hen with many chicks. You know what? A hen may step on a chick, but it never intends to kill or stifle the chick to death. So please speak to the Lord your God or the God Most High about our intentions and the fact that we do not want him to continue to be on that seat.
Mumpani phobia haya che ansa no no ba ono so ba haya ne afiri se ono de ankoba me anyi asomdwe ono so kra de wa betete ye kra too much ama ya wounded hwetie me ensase a wo man mu eni nsuonsu a wo man mu buafo aban na ote akonwa no so no mutie me.
Now they furthermore said that his predecessors, people who came before him, they did the same thing, but our expectation was that during his dispensation he will do something different, or he will make us have our peace of mind, but he has failed to do so. You know what? many parcels of land and many water bodies in this nation. The spirits that dwell therein are upset with this government.
Sunsum, Makon North, East, South, and West, and Sase, Nsunsio. Now,
spiritually, I have traveled to the north, to the south, to the east, and the west. I have come across spirits that inhabit water bodies, spirits that are territorial, that dwell on lands. I've met with spirits that dwell in trees and even mountains, and they are so livid, they are angry. You see, water bodies have spirits inhabiting them. Now, the fact that you disturb them and they have not killed you does not mean they do not exist.
But I fed you almost say, enough is enough.
But now they said enough is enough.
We
will not kill.
How? So one shame how dear. You bet you 2 minutes free munsem at the amobi fufro. As some no. Now make cabby one said to you.
And so they said, as far as we're not going to kill, but if you are not going to ensure that the proper thing is done, then to the extent that we have power to do certain things, we will take power from you. Now, at the time when I was a young man, I was a young man, and I used to reside in Asante Jabing, a Jusu Jabing. My grandfather was Nana Otuosrebo. And also Abuosohene.
Dr. Boating.
And also Dr. Boating.
And Owusu Banye.
And Mr. Owusu Banye.
Nana Boating. Nobody not to send me.
Nana Boating. I look just like Nana Boating and other relatives or ancestors of mine.
Yes, sorry, yes, sir. You be jarring you. And your post school, ne jabbing. Mrantianina, ne mabano, near Cobrunsu, Jarinsua. A man soon any ye fee. Miniano, my Fedrana Joa. Ubeti, a soon. A chakron husia. Adentina mo bro, meneme massa. Adentina mo bro, yania massa. A soon make us anti-jabbing. The American a fact. I was there. Mimiko Jari Jarin so mubi. Afei Yankroma Kuffour. Ebe bo dawro. Ebe sha konfonkom. Se ensuo no oda ho no. Wo se Jabin kwala ye bro ne ne ma. Etine bu afu. Ntina de bi obesu no na ye nyae. Obetwi afa oman ne so. Ehwa pena na no trosrebo eme ebo dawro se mo bia nkodware nsuo no ye gya nsuo no mu dware esu na makrom ho biem afeye ye kodware nsuo no no oba obema obi adwonso moja odwonso moja nko.
Wow.
When the catch was sunsum ni nsuo.
Now, at the time when I was young and I was in a Jusu Jabing, there was some stream of water that flowed in the town where we lived. And the young boys in that town after school would go and swim in that stream. We used to swim in that stream, and the turbidity became very high. It became bad. So at night, we used to hear somebody wailing and mourning, walking around the town, crying out and said, "Why are you beating up and killing my children?" And we used to hear that continuously very, very late and very dark in the night. So one day, the priest of the Yankroma shrine came out and publicly made an announcement that the spirits that inhabit in that water body has given him information for the young men in that town. And this was the message, that when you come to swim vigorously in that stream, you beat up its children and you hurt some of them. And the spirit is so infuriated and gave a warning that if we do not stop, he was going to rise up against the young men in that city. In fact, the consequence was that many or all the young men that used to swim started to pee blood. They weed blood. It was bloody. So the king made a decree that let nobody go into that stream to swim it. The moment we stopped swimming, indeed and in fact, at night no woman came to cry around the city again.
Yeah, Christopher.
We are Christians.
Yeah, charismatics for.
And we belong to the charismatic. Things like this, we usually don't believe it. But the fact that you don't believe it does not mean it didn't happen or it does not exist.
Miniano. Mekusu ameya me directions. Meya mempaibo ama MPP and Dr. Baumia. And I rade ebe kachire me say minyade me no. Jade wo ye no.
So while I was still in the pursuit of performing directions for NPP and for Dr. Baumia, God came to me and said, my servant, stop what you are doing.
Adentina asase nsuo ebuofu na ewrade a minsugu no so no so se minyai. Now
ask the $1 million question is that why are spirits that inhabit lands and water bodies and natural and other natural bodies, for lack of a better expression, why are they upset? And in addition, God of heaven has come to me to say to me that my servant, stop what you are doing.
I didn't know Samuel say,
why did God say to Samuel, stop praying and mourning for Saul? What happened? And God revealed it to me. But I am not sure I am prepared to disclose that to you.
Enti osoro buafu amanyokua ode hye ode o man hye monsa osoro buafu.
And so heaven is upset with the party in power, or the party that formed government.
Na sase yai soso buafu mo.
And again, the earth, the spiritual entities and custodians of the earth are also upset with the government. So you know what? I have not done anything. So don't channel your frustration and your anger and annoyance toward the prophet of God. And the Lord said, I will shift power into someone else's hand. I will shift power to another political party.
The servant of God, the prophet of God, you are challenging me. Me, who challenging me? Me.
Now, I am surprised that some people are challenging me concerning the prophetic word of God I've given to them. I, the prophet of God, the servant of God, really?
Kusibuafu. Seme. NDC for my misika. Say 5 billion. Me. 5 billion. 5 billion can buy me. Now, me panisho. Sa papa no me pesa me kana sem because omusane family ene ne ma time no da hospital na no awu no ya frɛ me call ho no ye funu no da ho me hwɛ no boru asunsun shin no gini fi wo nsam in the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. I didn't quite run him. afei otumi chia ne ho ma doctors no kura ho dwiri wo mo ma onwansin ye ma okeka ne ho ma ne ho tɔ no ma oba fie be da amase meje ni sika sama anyi ni sika MPP ni Mr. Kusibuafo owuyi wo yira nka ncho so owuyi me ba na wo da ho ana wo ko off se koma wo se dey off oxygen system so off me so nan boru asunsun nyame adom nti je wo kra firi wo nsam boru awumu afa wotimi kentene wo ho ena wo di meti radio se me ma kwaji sika free NDC for 5 billion me Owusu Bempah the servant of God Paul can send me or say who here but do tambia who here me Owusu Bempah 5 billion bet me atomy me God forbid me Owusu Bempah the great Owusu Bempah 5 billion
now let's ask. Hello, can we have your attention for a moment? Now let's ask ourselves, and let's ask our brother Kusibuafo that he has alleged that NDC has given me the sum of money worth about 5 billion. Now, is he saying that somebody can buy me with 5 billion? It is never the case. Now, if he does not know, let him ask his wife or children or members of his family. At the time when he was at the brink of death and he was almost lifeless and he was at the hospital and they called me to come and pray for him. At the time I went there, he was almost lifeless. When I got there, I held his feet. And when I got into the realm of the spirit, I saw that the spirit of death had taken his spirit and was taking it away. In the mighty name of our Lord Jesus Christ, I rescued the spirit, brought it back to the hospital ward, and in part fixed his spirit back into his body. Instantaneously, he sneezed and was able to respond to stimuli at that time. The doctors in the hospital were surprised at what had happened at that time. He recovered, came home, and came to my house to say thank you to me. Let's ask him whether at that time I took money from him to do what I did for him. Let's ask him. Now, it is very untrue that I, the prophet of God, the servant of the Lord, the prophet Owusu Bempah, the great, will take money to do something for someone.
No. I saw for Ghana ha.
You see, men of God in Ghana have power.
Na mahu se Ghana iba bebrebe no embu asofo.